It's 2 p.m. Detroit, and you know what that means. Detroit media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
What the intro didn't say is we are also joined by the great Anson Wells as well as Ricky Spivak in the building today. That's Ricky Burns and Pete Spivak joining us. How you guys doing out there, man? I'm glad to be with Anson. I haven't seen you since J-Dub and SGA. I had to say it that way because I know that's your guy. They won the finals back in the fold. I say to you, good afternoon, brother. How you feeling?
It's good to be back, man. It's been like a full week, and my secondary team, my favorite player won. Honestly, it was Pistons didn't make any stupid trades.
Right.
The draft is tonight, so I'm pretty happy to be here on the day of the NBA draft.
100%. A lot to get to. Detroit Tigers. Whoa. Whoa.
Ooh, yeah.
Whoa. We'll talk about that
Fun
in a little
game.
bit. Tonight, as Anson told you, it is the NBA draft. What that even means anymore, we don't know, but we'll have Brandon Kool-Aid Dent in V-Mix around 2:15, 2:30 to talk about what he sees, what the Pistons may do. Let you guys get into a little bit of a back and forth. But before we do any of that, man, let me shout out my TD over here, Pete Spivak, who does so much on the fly, you know what I'm saying? And we got to make sure that we appreciate you. We say it on the show, you get the love you deserve. We appreciate you because a lot of things have come down the pipe, pause, whether right before the show, whether it's during the show, whether it's at the end of the show, and you always seem to make it happen. So we here, and I'm speaking for everybody out there as well, we appreciate you, Pete.
And I appreciate you guys.
We appreciate you.
I appreciate my other four teammates, and I appreciate Woodward, and I appreciate the audience, especially you guys.
The person on the show that should be appreciated the most wasn't here yesterday, but guess what? He's here today. He is sitting in the 15K Ironman chair. He is the great Tom Maz I Wednesday. Maz, I missed you, man.
You're full of compliments today. Thank you.
Oh, I love you guys.
We love you. I love your chain.
ELE, everybody love everybody.
Where'd you get that?
Oh, you know what it is, man. Shout out to
Is that from your jeweler?
this is no. This is
How about Cicchini? Is that from Cicchini?
This isn't from Jacob or Cicchini's. This is
Okay.
from Pro Sports Zone.
All right.
Little Lions, man. I was
Little Johnny U.
little Johnny U. You know they sell them everywhere, but Johnny U is the best place to
He
get it
is.
from. 100%.
He is. Welcome in,
Ricky,
everybody.
how you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. I listened to Yacht Rock on the way in.
Oh,
I love Yacht Rock.
Michael McDonald?
Yeah.
I love Yacht Rock.
You know what song I listened to today? I never listened to the entire song. No, the Escape, the Pina
Foreigner.
Colada song.
Oh,
yeah.
not one of my favorites.
That is an amazing record. I've only heard the.
You picked like the worst one.
That's Bertie
No, but
Higgins.
that was-
That's awful.
I only say that because
I agree.
Awful.
I
Hall
only
and
say
Oates,
that because I
good
never
Yacht
listened to the
Rock.
actual words. So I'm like, I'm gonna listen to the words to this song. I didn't realize he just shot his shout out on a paper.
This is true.
You gotta listen to-
some
yeah.
good Yacht Rock.
You got to listen to Benny Mardones, Into the Night.
Great Yacht Rock.
Got you. I just put it on
Anything
shuffle.
that has night in the title, probably gonna make for some really.
He was
really
trouble, that
good
guy.
Yacht Rock.
Call there.
100%. Before we get into the show, before we talk about the Tigers and the blowout that was last night, getting them back on track for the two series that they have coming up against the division. What's going on, man? What's new? Catch me up. What's the latest? Talk. What you got going, Anson? Electric Forest? Did you go?
I did
How
a little
was
bit.
it?
Yeah.
Did you get the forest flu?
It was. I didn't get a chance to get my full forest experience. Not something I really want to talk about.
Man.
I did bring a whole bunch of cool stuff in for everybody
Talk about
here.
it.
One of our guys that brought us a championship as a executive and twice as a player, Joe Dumars. You get his Hall of Fame bust here, and
cool,
this
dude.
one is courtesy of our guy Freddie Felt.
You know what that looks like? It looks like the William Shakespeare bust in Batman. When they tilt his
It was
head
a
back
nod.
and they push the button and they go into the Batcave.
Did
That's
you-
what that looks like.
Look at you. Shout out to Alfred
Yes.
and Bruce Wayne.
How about it?
Maz is a big Adam West Batman
The only
fan.
Batman.
The only Batman.
But I do
he
love the
says.
movie Batmans as
For
well.
sure.
He's the only Batman voice for me. He's not the only Batman, but when I think Batman's voice, outside of the craziness that Christian Bale did, Adam West is the voice I think about for Batman.
Amen.
I'll meet you there.
But we got a whole bunch of cards here. In fact, I did bring here at the end a Shaquille O'Neal rookie card.
Shaq.
Whoa. Where's that at?
It's in the glare there. There you go.
Right
Is that the
there,
Kimbe?
guys.
That is the Kimbe.
It looks like he's up against
Kevin
some
Willis.
terrible Washington Bullet that I can't even figure out who that is. Too big to be Liddell Eccles. But this I dug this up. You can't really see it, but this is from 1992. As a very young little guy here, I sat in front of the screen and wrote out each name as each pick went by in cursive. I know a lot of you guys at home don't know what that is.
Dude,
But
that's all I write in.
But
That's crazy.
that name on the top, and then, of course, you got the second round here, too.
Look
at you.
Number 16, or pick number 19, the Detroit Pistons select White Boy Roy, Don McClain out of UCLA. But in honor of me digging this up and finding it, that is why you are getting the number 1 pick from this draft, Mr. Shaquille O'Neal, as well as a whole bunch of other cards here. And I don't know what we're referring to him as third base Javi, outfield Javi, resurgent Javi. But
all the nicknames.
he's in
King
there.
Javi.
They
He's in
all apply.
He's in there.
You know what, Pete? You're going to have to put me on that wheel today.
You
'cause
got
you know
you.
when it
Yeah.
comes to Javi, he's number
You're in
one.
the
And
wheel.
there's a Dan Marino in there, too. I know you're a fan of him.
Is that Dan?
That is the
Man,
man.
you
You're
talking
the
about
first
that.
space on the
Hey.
wheel.
We got a couple of super chats already.
Go ahead.
Dante 151, Michael
Shout out to
Leary
Dante.
congratulating us on show number 700.
That's right.
Yesterday, 100%.
Wow.
We
Show
treated
number
it-
700.
Bills.
I had no
cool.
idea.
We talked
Thanks,
about
guys.
it yesterday. Somebody
Yeah.
brought it to attention yesterday, and I appreciate you. I can't remember name
That's
will lose
awesome.
me. But 700 shows. Ryan and I talked about, just under 4 years. We started in August 13th, 2021.
That's a lot of fluff.
Maz, Ryan.
I got a good 50 in.
The funniest
Yeah, I think
thing
I got
about that
35.
show,
Easy.
Ryan tells the story. This is the first time I had the opportunity to tell it. So back in the day when we first started the show, we go in the back, go in the office, we get there. Maz would probably have been here since 10, because at this time, Maz is producing all the shows. I told you, Maz is key to Woodward Sports Network.
Yes, sir. The
Maz
glue.
is producing all the shows at the time, so he's in between 9:30 and 10. Ryan get off of Fox a little bit earlier back then, so he would come over around 11:45, noon. I would get here around noon, 11:45. We would talk shop from that time until the show. We would do the show like pretty much in there and come in here change our minds about things. But when Ryan sat in that chair, our very first show, we opened the show up. You see how we have these segment lists that Maz so generously
2
puts
pages.
together for us? 2 pages. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's more. Here we go. Ryan had exhausted all of the topics in the first 18 minutes.
Oh, wow.
By the time we finished the first 18 minutes of the show, and
Now what?
we were breaking about 18, 20 back then. We had nothing left.
Oh,
In the
man.
words of Tom Mazaway, gassed.
We were gassed.
Was Ryan Ermanni. But we've grown, and we appreciate it. Like I said yesterday, this show doesn't happen. It does. This network, let's start there. The network isn't where it is today if not for you, the viewer, the people that chat, the people that come in, the people that give us topics, the people that support the craziness that Anson brings in every week. And it's craziness just being a fun word, but it's some great items over there. Ricky?
Do we have time? I feel like it would
We
be
got
dope.
all the time in the
I
world.
feel like it'd be dope for you and Maz and maybe Pete to talk about, and Anson, you've been here for a long time. Talk about how y'all ended up on the show. I feel like that if we have time for it.
Yeah,
Sure.
Maz, you go first. You're the first
All right.
person from the network on this particular show.
Yeah,
Talk about it.
I got hired. One of the first. Stick hired me. I think it was over the Christmas holiday, and they were doing shows. It was just a couple of shows. It was the morning show. They called it Morning Wood.
Woodward. I remember that.
Morning Woodward. It was Stick. It was
Joey.
Stick and Joey, and I think Adam
The
popped
girl,
in and out.
the redhead.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
I forgot her
Chris
name.
Pilar.
Chrissy.
No, Pilar wasn't in yet.
Oh, okay.
Pilar worked with me.
Chrissy.
Yeah, that was her name.
Chrissy.
I know. Ryan.
She was a radio.
Yeah.
A radio
Yeah,
artist.
she was a radio
Yeah,
girl.
that's how I know her.
And they had who's our guy that became a football writer?
Corey.
Oh,
Corey Woods.
Corey Woods.
So that was the first show. After that, it was Belizean and Bell. So I would sit in on that show as well. And then they birthed the show. They called it The Hook. It was Darren McCarty, Pilar Lastra, and me. The three of us would sit at the desk. We would do our thing. We were waiting for Ryan to basically get out of his contract.
Save the name of the show because that's where I'm going to jump in when you're finished.
I will.
Thank you.
So Ryan was able to come finally, and Braylon, of course, was waiting until Ryan came. So then they put me, Ryan, and Braylon together. They moved. Pilar had to go back to motherhood. She's a great mom. She's still a great mom. She only lives a couple blocks away, so she couldn't do full time. So they moved Darren to the middays, and they had Neil come in. Joey Bell couldn't do it anymore. Sean got another gig with JR, and here we are today. We came in. We got where'd we meet at the restaurant? What restaurant did we meet at?
We met
it
in,
Fifth Avenue or something?
Royal Oak. We met at the
It might have been Fifth Ave in Royal Oak.
not Fifth Ave, O'Toole's.
O'Toole's.
Oh, next door.
So me, Braylon, and Ryan meeting
DJ
as a
there.
show for the very first time.
And Terry
It was-
Foster, somebody else. It was four.
I don't think. No, I think it was just the three of us.
1, 2, 3.
I think it was just the three of us.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll let you take it from there. We sat down, had some appetizers and some drinks, and we're like, hey, what are we going to name this show?
So October of 20, when the show started, Joey reached out to me. He was saying, hey, I've known Joey in the Mood since he was 13. When I used to play basketball in the offseason at Lifetime in Commerce, Joey was 13. He could shoot. I've told this story. He could shoot the blood out the ball, but the adults wouldn't pick him up. We was like, yo, you can jump on our team. We sat him in the corner, and we used to just beat up anybody that tried to block his shot. But we developed a relationship. Fast forward to 2020. He told me about the network. I was living in Ann Arbor. This is COVID. I didn't know what it was. I knew what COVID was. I'm living far. I said, let me see from afar what it does. Fast forward. April came here, took a meeting, met with Chad, who, by the way, had on no shoes in the meeting. So I was like, this is very eccentric. I like this look. He's got the no shoes, very zen. What's up, bud? How you doing, man?
A little
Just come
different
on
than your
over here,
days with
bro.
ESPN.
100%. So I came over here and met with Chad. I saw the studio. The studio kind of blew me away a little bit. This board wasn't like this, but they still had 9 TVs connected in unison. I saw this. I saw the potential. Said that I would join. We had that meeting, like Maz says, O'Toole's, and we're sitting around trying to come up with a name. The name that they came up with was Ermanni and Edwards and Maz, or Ermanni and Edwards. But I said, what about the bottom line? Yeah, I'm a stone cold guy. I think the bottom line is what a lot of people say when they're trying to hammer home that point.
And that's the bottom line.
Because you know who said so. So
Stone
the bottom line
Cold
was the
said so.
name, and we started August 13th. We started August 14th, 2021, man. And we've had a lot of variations of talent, but I think the integrity and like the identity of the show has stayed intact no matter who sits in that seat, who sits there, who sits here. You know, it's a very respectful show. It's a fun show, and I'm glad I'm here, man. Anson, who will be first, Anson or Pete?
Well, I mean,
Anson.
I'll go ahead and answer. I've been here with the network since day one.
That's what I thought.
I was the first call, apparently, that Stick put out after he told his mother about the idea. I remember all of us being in here with Mr. Heat Cam. Shout out Dante Rockymore.
Oh, yeah, Dante.
You got to remember, Choff was part of this in the very
that's
beginning.
my guy, too.
Don't forget Fish.
Oh, of course, Fish. We love love
Alex,
Fish.
Jeremy.
But yeah, the very first broadcast ever was me and Stick from his couch doing a Lions post game show.
Woodward Sports was on Stick's couch?
Yeah, very
That was
first
great.
one.
That's
and
great.
so at that point, I know there was a lot of push to bring Braylon in, and it took a little while, but thank goodness we got him here. And I've basically just been the fill-in for a bunch of time here. Been obviously doing the Lions post game, but found a nice fit with you guys here. And fortunately, the young face of Detroit media is Ryan Ermanni, which affords me some opportunities to join you guys.
100%. It was cool too because I had known Ryan. Like, Ryan's a Michigan guy. I don't know him from that. I just knew Ryan from doing some pieces on Fox 2. I did when my book came out. We did that. There's an interview I did with him about Lloyd and Michigan State like years ago. Some other things. So we had a relationship, but we didn't know each other. So
He was excited to get to know you, though. I already know that.
his best, like one of his favorite or best teammates. Let me say this: his closest friends that played football while he was at Michigan were Larry Foote and Dave Terrell. Dave Terrell's number one before me. He's a big brother. And Larry Foote and I played same little league team. Played against each other in high school. I was King, he was Persian. And then we played at Michigan together. So even though me and Ryan didn't have that relationship, he knew my guys. So he kind of knew my energy and was able to kind of transfer that.
My dad was a
show.
doughboy.
Okay. Oh, shout out to the dope. John
They don't
J.
ex-
Persian.
Persian doesn't exist anymore, right?
It opened back up.
Oh, it did.
It opened back up,
I
but I
didn't
think,
even know
yeah, it's holding on. You know what I'm saying? But it opened back up. They had a, we can talk off camera why they closed. You know what I'm saying? 100%.
And who's my bowling teammate?
Oh, Foot's father.
Yep.
Bigfoot.
Larry Foot Sr.
That's hilarious.
That's like the best nickname ever is
Isn't that-
Bigfoot.
You know where the
Right.
Doughboy
Bigfoot.
nickname comes from?
Yes, I do. John J. Pershing was the general.
Yep.
He was a general in American.
Do you know why they call
World
them
War I.
Doughboys, though?
I
The shape of the
Shape
belt
of the-
buckle.
Yep.
that part.
Thank
That
you.
part.
The shape of the
Look at
belt
you.
buckle?
Yep.
Look at you.
Looked like
100%.
a dough bread. So
Okay.
Like
back in the day.
100%.
It's a great nickname.
Shout out to all the servicemen for
Great nickname.
Yep.
a
100%.
couple hundred years.
God
Speaking of
bless 'em.
servicemen, Pete, how did you get to the show?
Tell you what, man, it's been a long broadcasting career. I was with Maz back at the old CBS radio, starting in 2004. We went through the old SNL in the morning show without going through my whole resume. Spindler in London in the morning. So after Maz left and moved on, I was doing my own radio career. I got laid off from iHeart, and I'm in Tom's pool on a Sunday afternoon, hot sunny day. It's in 2023.
Infamous.
He's like, hey, you're doing nothing. You just got laid off. Get out of your cocoon and come and frickin', come be a part of the, come join the show. And so I was like, I was hesitant. I was like, I don't know if I want to get back into it. And he's like, come on, come do it. I'm like, all right. So I came and did it. I've been here since November of 2023. And here we are. I came as an invitation from Maz, and I got a new family through Woodward Sports. You guys out there who watch us have been very, welcoming to me. I really appreciate it, and you guys are all welcoming. It's just, and Ricky, it's fun to work with you. And we had Kenny G on. It was great. So I started with Kenny G, and so that's how I got here, Braylon, and I'm here because of Maz.
And we appreciate it. You asked the question, sir, so it's on
Sir.
you.
Oh, I've been here for like 3 months. But anyway,
But you got to tell the story.
I originally met Stick and Joey when I was assistant program director at iHeart years ago, and I ended up losing that job, being out in Lansing running a station, and I watched Woodward Sports from afar, always kept in contact with Stick, would see him out at opening day, would see Joey or whatever. And then when I moved back to Detroit, I ended up losing my job in July, so I was doing medical deliveries for one of my other friends' companies, and this job just kind of came up. I was, applying for jobs. It came up as a board op, so I applied for it. I text Joey, and then Stick just texted me, "You're hired. I know you can do the job, so come on in." And it fit my schedule, so here I am, having a great time. I love coming here. This is one of those jobs where to me, it's not even a job. I
No
like
doubt.
just coming in and just hanging out. And I have all girls in my house, so it's nice to be around testosterone for 2 hours a day, guaranteed.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, right.
Exact same for him. He had 4 girls, including the wife, man. You
Yeah,
had 4
man.
girls at the cribbo, man.
So
Now,
somebody's always
not so
crying in my
many.
house. What about you, Maz?
Oh, God. It's like a waterfall.
Someone's always crying.
you know what? Speaking of waterfalls, I was trying to figure out which way to go with this conversation, but you just answered my question. There was a waterfall of home runs last night at Comerica Park. 4 points
Boy.
is what the A's scored, and 11 for your Detroit Tigers, the first team in the majors. There you go, Pete, with 50 wins this season. Now, Maz, I'll throw it out to you, and I'll be quiet. How fun was last night? By the way, Pete called it would be a blowout. Shout out to Pete.
Appreciate you.
I told Ryan and Monty 2 people would hit home runs yesterday. Guess what? They both did. Dylan Dingler was one of them, and Kerry Carpenter was the other one. Tarek Skugel got the 8 strikeouts that I called time. There it is.
And he didn't have his best stuff.
No, 4 runs.
It was hot out. He did not have his best stuff. He gave up a 2-run homer early in this game. And who comes up the next inning? The same freaking inning, bottom of the first. It's Kerry Carpenter
3-0.
to tie the game up. Then the A's take the lead again,
Hold on,
and
man.
back
You gotta
come
go
the
back.
Tigers.
What was the count when Kerry hits the bomb? It's 3-0.
Yeah.
3-0 green light. Bye-bye.
Severino with the pitch there. Anyway, Tigers are the first team at 30 wins, first to 40 wins, and now the first to 50 wins. They're 20 games over 500 again. It was a great night for everyone. Wenzel Perez in 1 inning, 2 outfield assists, cut down 2 guys, 1 at second, 1 at third. The pickup by Javi Baez at second is remarkable. It's like he knows where the glove is. Wenzel Perez, 1 shot off the wall and a BB right to Javi to take out the A's. The A's, they left like 3 runs on the bases last night. They outran themselves last night.
That first pick was probably one of the greatest plays I've ever seen live. From the bounce off the wall to how he set his feet, and then how he with the that was amazing.
Riley Green continues to be red hot. Zach McKinstry, red hot again. Listen, guys, you have till tomorrow to vote these Tigers in at MLB.com. Go to the All-Stars. vote him in, guys, because after tomorrow, if you're not a top 2 or a top 3, you get eliminated from the vote for the next round. The game will be in Atlanta. They get to wear their jerseys, so they'll have the away jerseys, the AL, because it's in Atlanta. So we'll have that Detroit across the board. Riley Green is pretty much going to make it. Dylan Dingler needs some help. Javi Baez is one of the leading outfielders behind Aaron Judge. Yeah, you heard me. Outfielders.
Crazy.
That is amazing. And Torque needs some help. I know he's starting to heat up a little bit now. I could see it. And McKinstry. Look, there's no outstanding third baseman in the American League. This guy could get voted in. So get out there. You know Skubal's probably going to be the starting pitcher. Get out there and get those votes in for your Detroit Tigers so we could see him at the All-Star game.
Is there anybody you could see starting over Scoobs?
It depends on how the Tigers pitch him. Like if he pitches too close to the All-Star game, that's the only way he doesn't start.
Okay.
There's a link in the chat, by the way, for everybody out there, so get on there and vote.
Nice.
Vote.
Very nice.
Flaherty goes tonight.
Vote or die.
I expect Jack Flaherty to step it up tonight.
Yes.
I guarantee you
Yes.
he goes at least 6 tonight
Correct.
with 8 strikeouts. I'm giving you the 2 bets right now. 8 strikeouts or more, 2 runs or less for Flaherty. One of them will probably be a solo home run to somebody on the A's, maybe Jacob Wilson, their all-star shortstop.
I had the very fortunate timing of turning that game on to start the 7th inning.
Yep.
Because, boy, Wencel Perez was amazing. 2 outfield assists in the same inning, first time in over 50 years for the Tigers, and he wasn't done. He had to come in and get himself a single and then come around on a pass ball and score head
That's
first.
amazing.
The way that they've pieced these pieces together, it feels like Moneyball crossed with Major League. Because you've got all these wild personalities. You got Ricky Vaughn throwing heat on the mound. You got, this coach that's or this manager that's ready to press all the right buttons. And a whole bunch of guys that are like, who the hell are these guys? Like, I mean, nobody was excited about Wencel Perez, and he's been fantastic. And you have so many of these guys up and down, which I know you guys hated it last week. I do think that this team has some regression ahead of them. I don't think it's going to cost them the division or even their run in the playoffs. But I just can't it's unfathomable to me how they've gotten all these different parts to work together without the big names.
Yeah, regression happens in the MLB. When you're talking about 162 games a year, regression happens for every team. No matter who it is, the Dodgers will see it, the Yankees will see it, the Phils will see it.
The Mets are falling like they're falling off a cliff right now. I had to talk my sister off the ledge. I'm like, it's okay. It's only June. They'll bounce back.
Yeah, no, they will. But that's the thing. The thing you look to is it's not the regression because it happens, Anson. What you look to is who's the skipper. I got to go back to that. A.J. Hinch and the job that he's done over the last 18 months has been phenomenal here with the Detroit Tigers. You look at the players. The players themselves are getting better. The pitching, you come into these waves. You come into the ebbs and flows, but that's where you got to focus on A.J. Hinch. And I think A.J. Hinch will be able to temperament them through those processes and keep them hot because it happens in baseball much like it does in basketball.
Wizard of Woodward 2.0.
100%. It's just fun to watch them.
I have a hard
dominate
time
like
watching
that.
the Athletics, and I call them Athletics. I always call them Oakland. They're Oakland. They're the Oakland A's. They're a nomad city. They don't have a city.
Philadelphia.
They are literally called the Athletics.
The Athletics.
It just boggles my mind how baseball, Rob Manfred, allowed this to happen. This team should still be in Oakland somewhere or playing in a real ballpark. They have to play in this Sacramento park for at least 3 more years. They did finally put a shovel in the ground in Las Vegas, and I literally mean it was a ceremonial shovel. So supposedly they have broken ground on this Las Vegas extravaganza that's going to happen in a bunch of years, $1.8 billion stadium. You know it's going to be more than that in the desert. I do believe they'll do well in Vegas eventually. Arizona did well. I believe they'll do well. But to not have a city, they have to fix this like the Tampa Bay Rays. That has to be fixed by next season, regardless of who the new owner is going to be. They got to get them back indoors at the Dome or find them another place to play. You cannot play in these bandboxes that they're playing in. Tampa Bay playing at Steinbrenner Field, and, of course, the A's playing in their Sacramento AAA ballpark. And it's terrible. It's not right. It's not fair to those players. And how are they going to compete going forward? It's just mind-boggling to me how they let this happen to this team.
People always ask about, in terms of football, why is football so dominant? Why is football up here? And basketball, for us, kind of certain the same thing. They don't have things like this. They don't have situations like the NHL where you got a team playing at a JUCO college out in Arizona, and you're trying to find a name for them. Then you move them to Utah, and they don't have a name. They don't have things like the Oakland Athletics that was embarrassing in terms of what shape the stadium is in. You got things falling. You got animals flying around.
They got possum that was up in the freaking box, in the press box.
In the press box, you have that going on. You don't have that type of stuff. And when you do, for somebody about to drop receipts, the Washington Commanders had that situation when they were kind of transitioning out of it. And what happened? They sold the team. They got a new stadium, and they're building a new stadium. The NFL gets it right because they fix these things. These things are horrid things. You're talking about how much money are these organizations worth? How much money sponsor deals and TV deals and things worth? There's no excuse. Like, if there's an excuse for you to operate in that space, you got to sell the team. And that's exactly what happened.
Agreed.
100%.
You know what? They have to find a home for them, a real home. If they should just go back to Oakland, rent the stadium for 2 years, and go to Oakland and finish it out. And if they don't want to go there, I don't know, maybe go to Santa Clara and play in the 49ers stadium. I don't know, but where they're playing now is an abomination.
Would they have a dirt outfield like back in the day?
They would.
I would love that.
It would be a great dirt outfield.
I'm down for that.
Can I bring a question? Let me ask you a question. We come up here so often and we talk about Scooble and the deal, and is the deal going to get done? And Anson and myself, as well as Scott Harris and those guys, especially Terry Scooble, have told you, just relax. Anson said it first. I have jumped on that bandwagon. Just relax, let the game play out, let the situation find itself. And Scooble reminded us recently, look, man, I'm just trying to play ball. Business is business. They'll figure it out. What if Scooble gets dealt next year? Would you be okay with the reason why I asked? I'm starting to look at this team.
Are we going to win the World Series this year?
Well, hopefully. Let's assume we don't. Let's assume we get there and we lose. Let's come from that space, that energy. The team is damn good. The team is growing. The team is getting better. You got pitchers. You got young pitchers as well that are gonna grow. Jackson Jobe is one of those guys that we know the stuff he has. He might have the deepest bag on the pitching staff. He's now not there yet, but he has the deepest bag. What would the haul be for Terry Scooble, and could it keep you in line for years to come in terms of being a damn good franchise? Because you're still going to have A.J. Hinch, and you got a lot of bats now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm necessarily opposed to trading Terry Scooble next season if the haul was right. What say you, Anson?
I mean, I've been the guy railing against a Myles Garrett trade, railing against the KD trade.
But this is different because
It's
the
so
star's coming
different.
from your side.
Well, it's so different, because we'd be selling instead of buying, but it's also so different because it's the MLB. You take back 6 great prospects, and you're lucky if 1 or 2 of them not only contributes but is an actual player. When you're talking about getting a top 10 pick in the NFL, it's most likely going to be a very good player. You get a top 10 pick in the NBA, or at least a lottery pick, that it should be a contributor. So to me, if the Tigers got into a situation where they didn't feel they could sign him, they felt better moving him and getting a whole bunch of working parts, I don't want a bunch of minor leaguers. We already have a fantastic minor league system.
Yep.
We have the best in all of the MLB, so we don't need to add more of those guys. Now, if they want to send a pitcher, like 3 guys that are starters, that are veterans, that have been around, that we know are going to come in and produce, yes, I wouldn't be that opposed to it. But I'm going to go back to the thing I said a couple weeks ago. Signing him isn't just about keeping Scooble. It's about signaling to the MLB and every other player that might want to come to Detroit that we're serious again here in Detroit. The Tigers are ready to compete, and not just for 1 or 2 years, but they're making this deal so that they can add even more talent to the roster, not a bunch of hope. We got plenty of hope down with the Whitecaps and the Mud Hens and elsewhere.
I agree. Sign him. Sign that man. Pay that man his money. Get him signed.
Pay him his money.
Yes.
Rounders, one of my favorite movies of all time. One of my favorite movies. Of
Hey, Kool-Aid's coming up next.
100%. Can't wait to talk to Brandon. Then
Real quick, though,
please,
shout
bro.
out Freddie Felt celebrating his
Happy birthday,
42nd birthday. He's smashing 2 double-doubles at an In-N-Out Burger and sitting behind the Padres dugout for the National Padres
I've
game
never had an
tonight.
In-N-Out burger.
I'm gonna tell you,
Pretty good.
the In-N-Out as the whole experience is overrated. But
Is it?
But the burgers, not.
I always thought Sonic,
animal sauce
before
and all that
Sonic
stuff,
came
man.
here, I was like, I got to go to Sonic.
Trash.
Got to go to
That
Sonic.
In-N-Out leaving Vegas, though.
It's right on point. It's what you need to get you right. Yo,
So
shout
good.
out to the 1983 squad. I see you out here, Freddie Fuller. I hope you enjoy your big day. You deserve it. We appreciate it. Send us some pics in, man. Send the pics to the email. We'll get them on the show
Yes,
for
sir.
you. That's a good one. The Padres and Nationals out here in Dago. That's not bad right there. That's not bad.
Bring us home some Tatis and Machado gear.
Speaking of some good food, how about we do this? How about we tell you about Buddy's Pizza, which is the best.
You missed
right.
out on Monday, buddy.
We're talking. Yeah, I saw that, man.
great.
Talking about the legend Freddie Felt. Let's talk about the legend Buddy's Pizza. Been doing it for 79 years, 22 locations throughout Metro Detroit. Of course, the original at 6 Mile and Conant, still slinging pie out there as well. Sign up for that Buddy's Rewards, and you'll earn some points on every single purchase. That first one you make, right above my head, include that 10 meal, you're going to get 10% off. Buddy'sPizza.com is where you can visit them. It's the original Detroit-style deep dish. You know it, Buddy's Pizza.
Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak. Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Baligian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media: X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media. And we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
The boys of summer are here, and Woodward Sports is all over the Motor City with the White Claw Tigers Tour. Come party with Woodward Sports, watch the Tigers, and sip on some White Claw all summer long. The best bars, big giveaways, live events, and a party that only Woodward Sports can throw. Ain't no party like a Woodward Sports party. Join us Friday, June 29th at the Old Miami in Detroit for the White Claw Tigers Tour, brought to you by White Claw, Easttown, and Ven Johnson.
Hey guys, Dr. Jeff Pierce, Michigan Sports and Spine. You know the scoop. I go there twice a week, get my therapy. from these lousy tennis elbows. But you can do it as well. He's in Livonia. Check him out right now online, MichiganSportsAndSpine.com, or you can call him at 248-426-9944. Faith and Kara, two of the best physical therapists you will have. Trust me. Trust the guy that DMAC trusts. Trust the guy that we trust. He joins us every Tuesday on Big D Energy. He joins us on Thursdays. That's tomorrow. It's Dr. Jeff Pierce, Michigan, sportsandspine.com.
Yes, sir. It is the White Claw Tigers tour, man. You see what they did to the A's last night. They're going to do the same thing with Jack Flaherty taking them on tonight. This Friday, man, you want to be in the mix. We'll be at Old Miami. Come on down. It's Woodward Sports Network. You get Anson, you get Maz, you get the Heavies, you get Neil potentially. You get Pete Spivak, man. You want to cheer with us. This is the group. Ben Johnson, Law, White Claw. They want to bring you to the fold. It's great to go to the ballpark. It's even better when you're with Woodward Sports, man. That's where we'll be at the Old Miami. You got to start hitting some of these old school Detroit bars, man, especially when they're providing this energy so close to the stadium. You'll be able to hear the home runs from the bar. So we'll see you this Friday at Old Miami. And then a couple weeks after that, we'll be at Second Best to finish up the White Claw Tigers tour. Come down, be a part, be in the mix. It's summertime. Get out the house. I repeat, get out the house. Watch the game. Not on FanDuel or Prime or wherever you watch the game at. Come watch the game with us. White Claw Tigers tour. Those things are fun. I saw the videos from the first one that they did. The energy was electric, man. Appreciate Nemo's. That was the first one that they had going out there. I got to get to one of these, man. This Friday could be the night.
Old Miami?
Old Miami.
Man,
And Sunday night is Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. The Twins and the Tigers. That's right. We got the national stage on Sunday night. I will be down there with my family at Comerica. I'm going again tonight. So I'm telling you guys, if you've not been out to Comerica Park to see this team, to support this team, get out there and do it quick, man, because it's hard to get in this stadium nowadays. It ain't like the old days where you could just pick a bleacher seat and go sit anywhere you want. You got to get out there, man. And secondary market, you might be able to get a little lucky. Closest to the game, get on that secondary market and get in the stadium a little cheaper.
Got to get there and enjoy yourself. Look, you brought up tonight. Tonight is the NBA draft. Detroit Pistons picking 37th will be their first pick. Anson, I'm going to start with you because we have Brandon Kool-Aid Denton.
You know what sucks? That we're only picking 37.
100%.
I wanted a first-round pick.
100%.
How'd we lose that first-round pick, Anson?
That's a great question, Maz. That goes back to the 2021 Christian Wood trade when Christian did not want to continue to be a Detroit Piston. So we made a move, and that's when we got Beef Stew, actually.
How about that?
We did get Trevor Ariza, who didn't want to come here as well. So that turned into DeLon Wright. But
How would he have fit? How would he have fit?
Who? Ariza?
Trevor Ariza.
That team didn't matter. I mean, he would have fit just fine if he wanted to be here, but that team wasn't doing anything. The big thing for me is a lot of people looked at this pick and they hated that the Pistons were going to lose a first rounder. Now, it was protected top 15 or top 13, I believe. And so obviously at number 17 this year, we did lose. It's changed hands a bunch. It's actually the Timberwolves pick right now. But if you look back at it, we got the number 16 pick in Beef Stew, who's certainly helped us, been one of the leaders on that team. And realistically, we moved up one spot. Because we're giving up the 17th pick.
Let's bring up our Woodward Sports expert on basketball. Woodward Pistons and Wake Up Woodward's own Kool-Aid. Brandon Kool-Aid Dent joins us on the bat phone. What's going on there, Kool? Is he on, my friend? Oh, I thought you told me he was on.
I just saw the handsome guy up there. I didn't hear anything, though.
Oh, well.
He said he's going to call back in a little bit.
Oh, good.
Well, I mean, if we can chat a little bit about that.
I blew that whole that whole intro for nothing.
Well, you know what? Let's take a pause and let's remind everybody here
know
that
why
we
you said
have an amazing prize pack here, including this Joe Dumars Hall of Fame bus that came from the birthday boy, Freddie Feld himself. We've got the Shaquille O'Neal rookie in honor of him being the first pick in the draft many years ago, along with a whole bunch of other cards, a Javi Baez, a Dan the Man Marino, and some others. I would love to see us get over 50 likes before the 3 o'clock hour, so you got 21 minutes. Smash that like button. And as we start getting into the draft here, I'd love to see some super chats from you guys. If you know who you want to see the Pistons take in the 37th pick, let us know, and we'll go ahead and read those out loud. But I've got a few names here that I would like to see the Pistons consider at 37.
Hold that thought a second. Matt Broder on the chat reminded us that White Claw Tiger stop is not Friday, but it's Sunday for Sunday Night Baseball.
Ooh,
so join the
very
Heavies
cool.
and the rest of the Woodward crew right there, baby. At the, where are they this
The
week?
old Miami.
Appreciate you.
The old Miami?
Thank you, Broder.
All right.
And the old
you,
Miami is
Thanks,
a
bro.
legendary spot. If you like
Midtown.
techno,
Yep.
it's got a cool
So Sunday
outdoor
night, guys, we'll
courtyard.
see you
It's-
there.
It's fantastic.
Now Pistons picks.
So I got 4 names that I like here. There's a whole bunch of names being thrown around. The Pistons, I am so proud of them. They've come out and already said basically that they're not making a big deal, that they are going to focus on development within their team. And realistically, again, you look at a healthy Jaden Ivey with a healthy B. Stu, there's no reason.
That's like a draft pick. Jaden Ivey's like a draft pick this year.
It is. And in my opinion, a fully healthy team, just like a fully healthy Lions, would have represented far different in those playoffs. You look at Jason Tatum going down. You look at Halliburton going down, the length of time that their recovery is going to take. The East is wide open right now. So the Pistons are talking about taking the best player available. I don't know. Did all of the GMs and head coaches in this town have a summit that we didn't hear about? Because they are all building their teams the right way and the same way right now. They are building from within. They're not giving up a whole bunch of talent for Windows. That's such a SOL mindset. I'm going to get back to that another day.
Well,
but
SOL lines, if you're reaching on a player,
Well, but-
not bringing a Miles Garrett or a
No,
Hendrickson in.
but
Those
everybody's
aren't
so
windows.
focused on Windows
I know,
right
but I'm not,
now.
that's not a window.
A 1 or 2 year window. I'm talking about being good for 10 years.
They would have been here for at least 5 years each.
So
6 years each.
All of the association or all of the franchises in this great city right now, they all seem to be building the same way. And with the Pistons coming out and saying that they're not looking for a specific position, but the best player available, that just sounds like Dan and Brad all over again, and I absolutely love it. So taking a look and knowing that we do need a little bit of size, despite them saying that they'll take the best guy out there. 2 guys, Andrew Carr and Jason Moore, both guys. One guy, Andrew Carr, kind of like a modern McHale. I don't know if you guys have watched this guy out of Oklahoma, or excuse me, not out of Oklahoma. That is Jason Moore, who went to Oklahoma. These 2 guys did play together at Georgia Tech, though, and they got a chance to play against each other in the SEC tournament. Both guys can stretch the court. Jason Moore, a lot more raw and athletic. I think a lot of people in Detroit will love that name. Andrew Carr, a guy that's just ready to contribute immediately as a 9th, 10th, 11th man on this team. But there's 2 guys that are very exciting to me, and it's Kobe Sanders out of Nevada, a 6'8" guard that can play all over the place. But my personal pick, who I hope that the Pistons get, and I'm putting my stamp on it, is 6'10" Jackson Money out of North Dakota State University. This is a guy that shot over 40% from 3. He shot over 50% from the field. Highly productive player. Started every single game that he played there at NDSU. He's skilled, man. He can put the ball on the floor. He can hit the 3. He can go inside.
He's not a first-round talent?
After the top 25 or so players, there's another 25 or 50 players that could get picked in the second round or not picked at all. This Jackson Money kid, I hope that we hear his name tomorrow night, but whoever gets him is getting a really good player and a guy that you can take a year to wait on, but also a guy that probably can contribute right away.
Before we bring Kool-Aid, because I believe he's on the phone, before we bring
got
him in, when you're picking 37th in the NBA draft, especially this one when there's only 125 people that are even enrolled to be in the draft, yes, you're picking the best available talent. There's nothing really that you can do at pick 37. I can't wait to bring Den in and, what does this draft look like? What does 37 look like? Is it even going to be a player that would be on the team? So,
a lot of whispers about trading up to the end of the first as well. Pistons have quite a few second-round picks, so that could happen.
But what does the end of the first get you? Like, realistically, like the last 5 NBA drafts. Well, let's say the last 4 for sure. Once you've gotten past pick 5, what has there been? As it relates to something to be excited about.
I'm sure there's someone that slips through, right? I'm sure there's somebody.
There's a player that slips through the crack. This is more of a general conversation, just about what the drafts have been. But enough of that. We'll put a pin in and we'll ask a guy who knows a lot bit about it. That is Brandon Kool-Aid Dent. Kool-Aid, What's the word, brother?
Hey, what up, dog? Glad to be on with one of my favorite shows ever, man.
What's up, Cool?
Hey, what up, though, man? It's good to be on, man. I hear the conversation as well, and you know what? I got to be honest with you. You don't go wrong with Anson's pick of Jackson Money. You can't. The 40.8% from three, I think that just translates no matter where you are. Some of the other skills might take a little longer to translate, but that shooting, especially in a 6'10" frame, that's something that does really coincide with what Trajan Langdon or the rumors are that the Pistons are looking for. A floor-stretching, versatile, someone close to 7-foot big man.
Hey, before we get into the Detroit Pistons, Kool-Aid, let's talk about the number 1 pick overall, who's going to be Cooper Flagg. We would be remiss if we didn't start there.
Ooh.
Cooper Flagg is going to be number 1 pick overall. You saw what he did last summer against Team USA, kind of sprung him forward for the Duke season. You saw the Duke season. You saw the national championship game came up a little bit short. What are your thoughts on Cooper Flagg? There's comparisons. I don't even have to get into the comparisons and blah, blah, blah. But what is your thoughts about this player and the impact that he'll have for the Dallas Mavericks this season?
I think it's going to be scary, and I believe the Dallas Mavericks believe that too. You see some of the subsequent moves they've made, including the 3-year, $119 million contract extension of Kyrie Irving,
Appreciate
and that tells me they believe that they are cooking. I think they believe they're absolutely cooking. When you look at Cooper Flagg, this is a player that when he first popped up on the scene, some of the noise, some of the rhetoric, I was like, bro, this is kind of LeBron-esque. Like, people need to chill. And the things I respected about him is it hasn't faded. The noise has only grown for Cooper Flagg. He hasn't backed down from any of the pressure. He hasn't just played at college. He's played against pros for a long time as a part of the U.S. select team, pro-am runs, and things of that nature. And all the words you keep hearing about this Cooper Flagg kid is that he's going into gyms, he's beating everybody in his peer group, and he's even getting on the tail of some of these NBA players. This is stuff we've heard from some of the prior greats before they got to the league. We heard the same stuff about Cade Cunningham, too. And so with the Cooper Flagg, I believe that they are getting a transformative player in Dallas. And who knows? Maybe it won't look that bad that they, booted Luka Doncic to L.A.
I'll take this one. Kool-Aid, I got a question for you. In fact, Freddie Felt just put his name here in the chat. Danny Wolf and Ryan Kalkbrenner are two guys that I'd love to see in the Detroit Pistons uniform. These guys are all of a sudden starting to maybe slip out of the first round we're seeing. Now with the NBA draft being split into 2 days, if both those guys are on the board, would either one of those be a guy that if you were Trajan Langdon, that you'd be willing to move from 37 up to 31 or 32 to try and snag one of those two guys?
Definitely. I'm a trade-up proponent, especially with the amount of second-round picks that the Detroit Pistons have. They got a lot at their disposal. When you talk about war chest within the draft picks, they have a lot of that. They can trade all their first-round picks. They can trade all their second-round picks. I think they can trade up to 4 first-rounders. So they have the ability to get busy in this draft. I'm hoping that they save the first-round picks for maybe a bigger deal because their collection of second-rounders is enough to move them up to the top of the second round, bottom of the first round. We've seen that happen. And underneath this new CBA with the 2 aprons, second-round picks become very, very valuable for contract situations and to facilitate trades. As we've seen, second-rounders are showing up in a lot more trades. So I am for the Pistons trading up for one of those players. I am even more hopeful that this team sees like a Danny Wolf or a Maxime right now. See if one of these guys out of Stanford, see if one of those guys drop into maybe your mid-20s, maybe your early 20s, mid-20s. At one point in time, Danny Wolf was one of those guys that was being mocked to the Pistons, but we've seen his draft stock kind of go up at least 20 spots since then. But I'm seeing him being mocked in some. Him and Maxime, players like them, 7-footers that can stretch the floor, versatile. I'm seeing those guys down, potentially being available if the Pistons want to trade up.
Hey, Kool-Aid, what free agents on this team do you see coming back? I see a rumor that the Sacramento Kings are licking their chops to try to get Dennis Schroeder away from us. I don't want to see this guy leave the team.
I don't want to see him leave the team either. Not at all. I'm sitting here right now like Dennis Schroeder, and we talked about this earlier with Rob Beard and Terry Foster. Dennis Schroeder's the guy they want to see back more than any of the other vets. I was one who I'm still bullish on what Malik Beasley did during the regular season, even though the playoffs left a lot to be desired. I just wonder, do you even get that far? Do you have the record you do if you don't have a Beasley? But Schroeder, seeing that, I was not expecting to wake up and start hearing the chatter that Dennis Schroeder is getting interest from a lot of other people out there. I knew he played well for the Pistons, but he didn't seem to be this real popular player at the trade deadline. But what he was able to do with the Pistons has parlayed this into what looks like a pretty competitive, maybe a competitive offseason for Dennis Schroeder.
I'd like to kind of rewind a little bit back into the draft here in terms of Danny Wolf and Jace Richardson. Both of these guys were kind of promised that they'd be lottery picks. And I think that Danny Wolf will be a much better pro than Jace Richardson. Jace Richardson absolutely has zero right hand. He's not a point guard, and he's just not big enough. He's basically Bronny James.
He made a lot of money, though, in college.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
I think he should have stayed. Do you think that Danny Wolf and Jace Richardson made mistakes by declaring for this draft?
Oh man. In the era of NIL, sometimes it can potentially feel like these guys are making mistakes to stay, get better, secure your draft slot. But Danny Wolf is a guy who at one point in time was, like I said, he was considered a second-round prospect. And even though he's fallen from the ceiling in terms of him being a lottery pick, they still got him going in the first round. And if Danny Wolf can be a first-round pick, you got to go. And so that's how I kind of see this thing. I for selfish reasons, I wish Danny Wolf would have stayed at U of M and created an absolute juggernaut underneath Dusty May next to Yaxul and McKinney and everybody else that they got coming there. But, this draft is a weird one. Between NIL, between the international players, between the guys that really nobody knows about, like all of the high potential, but we have no idea what they're going to be in the NBA, this draft is going to be one in which I believe you're going to see several players fall down the board. Like we saw Dalton Connect fall last year to 17, which shocked a lot of people. I do believe we're going to see some of that in this draft. And I think players like Danny Wolf are prime candidates to fall a little bit lower than even where they're being mocked right now.
I want to ask you about the Pistons themselves and not having to do anything with the draft, but I want to stay on that point for a quick moment. Isn't that the NBA draft period anyway? Like, we're making it seem like this was a special one. Last year was weird. The year before that was weird. The year before that was weird. Outside of a couple drafts where you had three players. Even our draft where we got Cade Cunningham, that draft was weird. Because outside of Caden and Jalen, it's like, who's next? Is this just going to be the NBA draft moving forward? It'll be the foreign guys that you don't know, but that you want to take leaps on, much like we did in 2004. Or it'll be the guys that go to college that you're like, they're just not ready yet because they've done all this transferring and now they've been playing for 7 years. Like, it just seems that this is going to be a familiar space. Bray.
That's the wild part, Bray, because back in the day, you see a third or fourth year player and you know this guy's going to be at least ready to be an end-of-the-bench rotation player. But now you're seeing third and fourth guys coming out of college, like a Danny Wolf, like some of these other guys, and you're like, are they really fit for this? Are they really coming in and giving you rotation level? Now, I am very bullish on them, but this is the question that you have with these guys because they're not sitting at a program and being coached on their strengths and weaknesses. You're seeing, by one coach who is taking a vested interest in this player being the boon for their program. Now you got players that can transfer. So if they don't like something that one coach is telling them, they can just transfer and go to another school. If they're stuck behind somebody, it used to be you got to fight your way around that. You had to go out there and put in the surefire work, and a lot of times your teammates would pick you up. And I learned those types of things. And so to see what the transfer portal is doing right now, I do believe that it can hurt some of the reliability that you might have had in the past with older players, because I just don't think that they're getting the right type of coaching. So they're staying in college longer, but if you're going from program to program to program, your next program is going to probably take you with your warts and all. They're probably not going to be as if you were with one program that could tell you, hey, look, next year we want you to come back and look like this. And so I do believe that older players are becoming a little bit more difficult to say, you know what, yeah, that's a player that you can go and take. When you start to mix in all the other stuff, younger players coming in, players from the G League are entering the draft, international players, players with high ceilings, and you have no idea what they're going to be. Players from college who play 1 year, they put up like 8 and 6, and now everybody wants to see if they're going to be the next Giannis. Yeah. So it's like that type of stuff that makes it tough. But Trajan Langdon and his team, and you can even go back to Troy Weaver, at least in the draft, both of the people who've contributed to where the Pistons are today, from a team building standpoint, both of them have keen eyes on not just drafting, like finding talent even in the lower parts. Because I do believe that Bobby Klintman is going to be a dog. I do like Bobby Klintman. Remember, he was picked number 37 last year. Still, we got to see what he's going to do. But these guys, they have an eye for talent. And where Trajan Langdon excels a lot better than Weaver, he had an eye for budget talent and free agency, too. Yeah. You look at what he got all of those free agents for, and it was basically stealing.
My thoughts on it, I echo those sentiments almost exactly. I think it's more so like this. Back in the day, the best players, they played 3 years, 4 years, and then when they got in the draft, you knew who they were and you knew what was going on. Now the best players aren't even going to college. Now the best players aren't going to college. They're going to, overseas, or they're going to an overtime league, or they're going to the G League, and they're spending their time there. Maybe a couple are going, but most of them are doing that. So the guys that are playing these 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, like Hunter Dickinson did out of University of Michigan and Kansas and wherever the hell he went, those guys aren't the best players. The guys that are playing for 5 years now, those guys are the guys that would have rode the bench back in the day. But now those guys are getting the shine. They're getting the start, but they're still not top-tier guys. So that's why they play for 7 years. And when you look like, where's this guy at? Oh, he's overseas. Like, he's ready to catch a ship overseas because he really wasn't that guy in the beginning. The guys aren't going to college. The guys are staying 1 year. So I think that's what's contributing to that as well. Talk about Troy Weaver.
The G League too, man.
Yeah.
The expansion of the G League too is doing that. You got more guys who I think are very comfortable with being in the G League. I sometimes wonder where some of these guys who are lighting it up, some of those guys generally used to be on the ends of benches because you knew they had skill. Yeah. Now those guys are in the G League while you got prospects and project players sitting at the end of benches. It's a different era completely in basketball, man. That's a good point that you pulled up.
Yeah, that prospect word is a very dangerous word. You spoke about Trajan Langdon yesterday. He made some comments. Anson, I know he was happy about those comments, as everybody was here in the city of Detroit.
Not me.
14 to 44. Maz, we can get into it in a minute. He said there's a lot of wings that are intriguing. Is this the comment that I want? There's some bigs, there's some guards that can shoot the ball. We'll find a player like that. No, the comment that he made yesterday that we talked about, that Pete did a great job finding that video for us, he basically just said, no, we're not going to make a big splash. Like, it kind of similar. Yeah. It's similar to the energy of Scott Harris going into the Tiger season last year. Speak on it.
And Brad Holmes.
The city of Detroit.
It's interesting, man, because I know this. The Pistons put a lot of stock in that young core. They really did. They were branding them early on, and I was wondering, was this going to stick underneath Trajan Langdon? And the first thing he said is, I just want to be able to assess. And he said it. He came out and just straight up said it. Look, this team is ahead of schedule. They impressed us, and yes, they have changed our approach going forward. That's a GM that I like. A GM who's already shown that he's good, and guess what? Where he might have mistook the situation, he's not afraid to step up and say, hey, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but I'm the guy who's trying to get the job done right. And that's what I like about a guy like Trajan Langdon. So if he's a guy that's saying, hey, you know what? I like the historic nature in which this team performed this year. I want to see this team have a chance to grow, have a chance to gel, have a chance to play together from the beginning of the season, then Trajan Langdon is a guy that I will give that credence to. Do I have him at the same level of a Brad Holmes and a Scott Harris? Not quite yet. But do I trust his words, a little bit more maybe than even a Steve Eisenman right now? Yeah, I would. I would right now. It's because of what he's proven. He came here really quickly, brought in the right vet, something that Troy Weaver was just spinning his wheels on. I respect Troy Weaver a lot for what he did to bring in this young core that I know a lot of Detroit fans love. But Trajan Langdon has been able to come in and build appropriately around that, man. And I appreciate who Trajan is. And so if he believes that this team has enough in this East that's kind of dysfunctional right now all around the Pistons, to me, when you're talking about who are just your healthiest organizations in the East, the Pistons are just one of the tops. They're not dealing with too much. Even the injury to Ivy, they still went on a really, really, really good run after that. Did. And so it's like they're a team that's primed to go up. And that's where I believe Trajan's like, you know what? Do you tinker with this and make your team one in which you're trying to catch chemistry every year? Or do you settle in right here and know next offseason is a big offseason for them? They have this one and next offseason to really get busy. I told Rod and I told Woo Poo this about 2-3 weeks ago. I believe Trajan is playing for next offseason, not this one.
Hey, the Pistons reminded me of how the Tigers finished last year And look at them this year. 20 games over 500. The first team in Major League Baseball to 50 wins. I got something for you. I'm going to probably piss Anson off, but can you hold through a quick can you hold through a quick break, Kool-Aid?
Of course.
All right,
Yeah.
my man. Kool-Aid's still on the horn for us, Bray, but we got to hear from Feldman.
100%. It's not
You
me.
got it, guys. Absolutely. And Feldman, if you scan that QR code above my head, you know that Feldman is the numero uno Chevrolet dealer in all of Michigan, with 5 locations for you to find in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and in Lansing. This month's specials include a 2025 Silverado 1500 Crew. You can lease that for just $149 a month, or the 2026 Equinox LT. You can lease that for just $209 per month. Scan the QR code above my head. It'll take you to Feldman Chevrolet, and that is Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer. We'll be right back.
Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak? Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Baligian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media: X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media. And we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Of summer are ready to get back to the playoffs, and there's no better place to get your Tigers coverage than Woodward Sports. Join us all season long as we follow as our hometown Tigers claw and fight. This ball is gone! Boys are back in town. Feel the roar with Woodward Sports.
Now, I know you're tired of wearing the same old Detroit sports merch. It's a new era in sports wearables, new designs, amazing apparel, and the ultimate swag. Check out Woodward Sports' latest gear at shop.woodwardsports.com. Hoodies, tees, hats, it doesn't matter. It's all guaranteed to turn heads for all your Detroit sports teams, and they all hot right now, except for the Red Wings. You can still get Red Wing stuff either. Anyway, shop.woodwardsports.com. Get all your new merch right there, man. Shop.woodwardsports.com.
Justice. It means different things to different people. That's a funny line. But whether it's a settlement or a verdict, justice is always worth the fight. If you've got a case, contact the fighters at Ben Johnson Law today. BenFights.com. That will be where you go and get the justice that you deserve. Tough, tenacious, trial lawyers. I'm telling you, man, that trial lawyers part is important. A lot of people don't want the smoke. A lot of people are trying to get settlements, and if they don't get the settlement, you are screwed. Ben Johnson doesn't care. Either way, you are going to win the case. It's Ben Johnson Law, man. BenFights.com, 100%. Now, we got some fun things for you later on. The Detroit Red Wings logo,
the Wings.
It turns 100
Beautiful.
today. One of the best logo in all of sports.
Beautiful.
No doubt.
This is the logo, and this is what Myers
Look
put
at
out
that
in
thing.
behalf of the century mark
Gorgeous.
achieved by the Rolling Wing, if you will. We'll get into, well, I guess I can drop it now. What are the best NHL logos of all time? Think about it. Save it, store it. Once we finish with Brandon, then we'll get back into that. But Maz,
I don't know if Anson could answer any of that, but that's okay. He can come back to me.
we were rocking and
I
rolling.
can't either, Anson. I'm with you.
I already gave my answer that I'm saving during the break.
I disagree. Everybody has logos in every sport. Even if you don't like the sport, play the sport. You know some logos,
course.
and there's some easy ones
Yeah.
with hockey because they are just traditionally great. Maz, up to you.
All right, here's my Get Anson Mad segment with featuring Brandon Kool-Aid Dent. Listen, I'm on the bus when you're a player or two away from competing for a Super Bowl, a World Series, an NBA championship, a Stanley Cup. I say you go get that guy. And Anson calls it a window. I call it a possibility for a lot of years that could still be great. That's why if I was the Lions, I'd go after Trey Hendrickson. I don't care about the money.
Do you consider 1 or 2 years a lot of years?
Hold on, please. I would go after Trey Hendrickson if I was the Lions, and I would go after Giannis Antetokounmpo if I were the Pistons. What would it cost us?
You gotta say his name right if you want.
Yes,
You
thank
gotta
you.
say his name right. Giannis.
Just say Giannis.
Antetokounmpo.
Just say
I
Giannis.
got you covered though. I got you covered. You was
Okay.
close.
Giannis, that's it. Kool-Aid.
Greek freak.
How far off am I, Kool-Aid? You got
What'd you
Kool-Aid
say?
up?
There he is.
Kool-Aid was eating a sandwich.
Hello,
Come on.
I'm there. I can
Thank
hear
you,
now.
Kool-Aid. All right, hit me.
Kool-Aid went to
How
the
far
bathroom.
off am I of, would you, if you were the Pistons right now, looking at the East, no Halliburton, who's in Boston down? Who's down with the Celtics?
Yeah, Jason Tatum.
Jason
James
Tatum. The
Lillard's
Knicks,
gone.
the
No
Knicks
coach.
are a dumpster fire.
No coach.
How about going for it right now?
You know what? That's kind of where I'm at. I've been on this train for actually some time because I do believe Cade would be absolutely dynamic with a co-star. And there are still some options out there, whether it's the ones that, are less likely, like a Giannis, but it's still likely because you see some of the other suitors, well, they've already made their trades. You're looking at what the East is right now, and I do believe if the Pistons do strike, they put themselves in prime position to have an opportunity to really, really, really contend over the next 2 or 3 years. I believe Cade is that good. You saw him step into stardom and All-NBA this season. And you saw how much the team around him was elevated by his level of play. The team pushed the Knicks without Stu, without Ivy, almost to 7 games. Probably should have been if not for a bad end-of-game call. So, I'm still looking at players out there like Lauri Markkanen. I know Sabonis is another one that we talked about today. There's still a Naz Reid out there. I know he's not necessarily the star, but you're talking about guys that are ceiling raisers for the Detroit Pistons team. I would like to see the Pistons go out there and try something. Now, one of the the most subtle comment I saw Trajan Langdon made was when he referenced the Orlando Magic's trade for Desmond Bain. He said if there's a deal like that for the Pistons out there, he will do that as long as it doesn't hamper their long-term window. So it's going to be interesting to see as these other players that have been rumored to be on the move, it's going to be interesting to see if he plays ball because some of these other teams, they're already making trades. You think for all the big trades that's gone down, that's taking out at least 10 teams now. And in free agency, the Pistons were already one of the better-equipped teams going into free agency. And sitting right now, they might be one of the better teams. Like, just overall, one of your top, maybe 2 or 3 teams ready to do business if you're looking to get underneath that second apron, like the Boston Celtics were.
Let me ask you a question, Kool-Aid. Not about the Pistons. I'll come back to the Pistons in a second, but it's about somebody that they'll face this year. It's the Boston Celtics. You see the unloading that they're doing right now. They sent Drew Holiday out to the Portland Trail Blazers. They just sent Kristaps Porzingis to the Atlanta Hawks. Talk about what they're doing. They had a championship team a year ago, still had that team intact. Jason Tatum gets hurt, and now they're offloading a little bit. What say you about the Celtics? Why the offload now?
I thought it was an offload, but we bantered about before Kristaps was actually traded that he was actually a prime candidate if the Celtics were serious about not sitting idly by, not just thinking, oh, the East is wide open, but we lost Jason Tatum, woe is us. If they were serious about putting themselves in position to continue to have their contention available, that Kristaps Porzingis is probably one of those players that they were going to have an opportunity to trade. Get his money off the books and put their short-term and long-term window in a much better situation. I believe the Celtics, it was masterful by them. These couple trades that they've done to get Anthony Simons, who I believe offensively can definitely, he's not going to be Jason Tatum at all, but in terms of carrying the offensive load, he's going to do that a lot better than Drew Holiday could. And then you're talking about getting rid of Kristaps and being able to get a little bit more flexibility to bolster your roster some more. I think that Boston Celtics are showing why they are the type of organization that they are, why they are looked at and viewed at as one of your premier organizations.
Yeah,
it was masterful.
100%. You know, Brad Stevens, he showed you that he followed in the footsteps of Danny Ainge. He coached for a little while. That wasn't where he wanted to make his bones. He liked that front office, and now you see why. He's done a tremendous job filling in for Danny Ainge, who had done a tremendous job in his space. You know, he actually brought about the first big three in Pierce, Ray Allen, as well as KG. Getting back to these Pistons, though, BD, you said Naz Reid, and you talk about the star factor. I think people are going to have to start paying attention to it. It may not be the star in the sense of what you think the star is. Like, everybody's looking for the KD, who we called it last Thursday. We said Houston would be the move. But it's going to be the star like Derek White. It's going to be the star like Naz Reid. These guys are stars in the landscape of this NBA. You may not get the guy that you think is on the All-Star team, but stars, they come in many shapes, sizes, and forms. I think those are the type of guys. Naz Reid is a star in this league, and he would be a star with the Detroit Pistons.
I think he has an opportunity. You know, there's some usage opportunities available for guys like that who are just on the cusp. When you talk about Naz Reid stepping into that, you know, $25 to $30 million a year range potentially on his next deal, that's a guy that you're hoping can bring you some star potential. Versatile guy, gets you a little bit of grit. And I absolutely like that when you're talking about what you want out of the Detroit Pistons and what the next step is. You saw their physicality, their grit, and just a little bit of scratching the surface of the versatility that they had. They were able to push the New York Knicks, who a lot of people thought for a large part of the season were head and shoulders better than the Pistons. So, you know, I'm not against at all a guy like a Naz Reid, a Sabonis, or a Lauri Markkanen. And I think Naz Reid is very, very gettable for the Pistons.
I'm going to finish up with the last question here, piggybacking on the Naz Reid. You know, if you go back to April when the Pistons were still playing before the playoffs, I said Miles Turner was my number one. Then I said Naz Reid was number two. Obviously, Miles re-signed. I think that Naz Reid is too expensive for what the Pistons can do with the salary cap situation. So I'm looking at the two guys left over that I've been asking for a few months now, and that's Bobby Portis, stretch four, that is one of the better defenders in the league, and then a guy in Santi Aldama, another stretch guy, maybe not quite as good defensively, maybe a little bit better offensively. If the Pistons can make one move in free agency outside of a guy that already wore Piston blue over this past season, out of those two, Santi Aldama, Bobby Portis, who are you signing?
I think that Bobby Portis is the way you got to go with this.
My man.
I like everything that Santi Aldama presents as a prospect. I like what he showed in the NBA, last year. But, when the playoffs hit, when the pressure hit, there's a little bit of he left something to be desired.
Portis wearing a ring too, right?
What'd you say?
Portis has already got his ring too, right? We love that experience.
He does have championship experience. I was definitely gonna get there too. And I like just the fact that from everything we know about Bobby Portis personally, this is a I will punch you in the nose type of guy, and you're gonna take it. And I think the Pistons need more of those. I think Terry Foster calls those a-holes. You need those types of guys on your team. And Stu is one, but it's not enough, especially when you got that Detroit across your chest. And when you talk about the versatility he brings on both ends of the floor, and the fact that he may be realistically, when you're talking about output versus production on the floor versus financials, he might be your best value. I think Santi Aldama is going to be probably your cheapest get that you can find. and you're hoping on a lot more potential and that he can improve from a physicality standpoint in the paint on the defensive side. But Bobby Portis is a guy that you're not waiting to develop anything. You know where he's going to be when he gets here, and he's going to be one of your team leaders. He's going to be one of those guys that, you know, he's going to be one of those enforcers. He's going to be one of those protectors. He's going to be one of those, hey, I dare you to go and foul, you know, Kay Cunningham tough again like that. Like, and I believe that they need more of those types of guys. Hey, I dare you to come into the lane. You know, too much of over the last few years of people just waltzing into the lane against the Pistons. I want to see more guys that can bring the pain. And it would be Portis over Aldama for me.
Kool-Aid, man. Last question from you, and we'll let you get out of here, man. We appreciate your time always, man. You know you are more than welcome anytime to come on this show. Tonight, what are you looking forward to? You know, just talk about tonight. What are you actually looking forward to? It doesn't have to be the Pistons. It doesn't have to be Cooper Flag. It doesn't have to be whatever. What are you looking for opening night NBA draft?
You know, I'm just looking for to see if there's any craziness. You know, if the trades, like Shams, he believes that this is going to be very, very trade-heavy off-season. So I'm looking to see what craziness goes down, who's the next star to be traded, because I'm tending to believe that the draft, at least at the top, is going to be pretty predictable. But beyond that, I believe it's going to be a whole night of unpredictability, and that's what I'm looking forward to. I do know the Pistons tonight, shout out to Pistons and Pistons PR, they're hosting a draft watch party tonight. So I'm definitely going to try and get down there and be with them. They got food for some of the media. And it'll be interesting because the Pistons don't pick till tomorrow night. So now I got my antennas up like, I wonder what's going to happen. Like, you know, but it'll be interesting to see as these other players fall, because this is the last thing as it relates to what I'm looking for. Certain players. I'm looking to see how far Maxine falls or Danny Wolf. And if they get just low enough, I will be a guy who's hoping that Treasure Langdon just takes a chance. I'm not going down that hill because I'm looking for more experienced players to help the team this year, but it is a draft, and there are some prospects I do like.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is Brandon Dent, and he is damn good at what he does. He's even a better person, a better father, man. We appreciate you.
No doubt.
Kool-Aid. The rest of your day, man. We'll talk to you tomorrow. We'll check in with you tonight, too.
Have fun tonight.
Hey, thank you, guys. Appreciate you all.
Thanks, Cool.
No problem at all.
All love, bro.
Go
Yes,
Pistons.
sir. Go Pistons, go Pistons. Yeah, you know, that was an element I didn't even think about, you know, not having that pick. You know, it was kind of like, what was it, 2 years? Well, it was last year when we had the draft here. It was like, oh, man, are we going to trade out of the first round? It was important for Brad Holmes. It was important for Dan Campbell to have a pick at the draft, and that pick ended up being Terry Honor, who we expect a lot out of this season. But excited, even though we don't have a pick, still excited to see what the NBA draft has to hold. Before we get your thoughts, let's get a quick commercial break. Pete, I'm going to be on time today. I'm on track today. Let's get a quick commercial break and we'll tell you a little bit about Planet Fitness, because your fitness is and always will be essential. But now, teens 14 and 19, you work out for free. It's part of the high school summer pass. Work out free all summer long. We want you to get out of the house. We want you to get in the gym. A non-judgmental space. Look, mental health as well as physical health are very important. They go hand in hand. So this is what Planet Fitness wants to do. Wants to get you in the gym, wants you to enjoy yourself, get out of the house. And also, last time I checked, it was pretty hot outside. You know where it's not hot? That's inside Planet Fitness, because the gyms are squeaky clean and full of AC. And they have fitness for those of you that cannot go for free because you're older than 14 and 19. Well, you only have to pay a little bit, man, because they have fitness that fits into your budget. That is the price range of Planet Fitness. Fitness is essential, and they want to help you do it, man. So come out all year long, but all summer long for teens 14 and 19.
Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak? Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Baligian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media: X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media. And we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasta salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Sports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Make sure you stay connected with Woodward Sports on all social platforms. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, along with YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Stay up to date with the latest sports news, live updates, and you cannot forget that behind-the-scenes action. Don't miss out. Hit that follow button. Again, we're on all of them. Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Stay up to date and be a part of Detroit's #1 sports digital network, man. At Woodward Sports on all of them. At Woodward Sports. Make sure you follow us now.
Simple, easy stuff, like getting Maz excited over a blockbuster trade.
Yes.
We like uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. You can just walk in, sign in, before you know it, you are looking good. Lady Jane's open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Again, walk in anytime, because Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
I want to harp on that #1 network thing for a minute, because I feel like, we say that and it just comes part of the rhetoric, and it's like, #1 network, #1 network. Ladies and gentlemen, we are the #1
numbers
network
prove
in the
it,
state
baby.
of Michigan and beyond in terms of the streaming platform, and which was created in 2020. This is #1. Data supports it, statistics support it, and the people, yourself, you support it. So when we say #1, it's not us blowing smoke. It's us just telling you the truth. And I know a little bit of something about being #1.
All right.
You like that?
You're
You
rolling.
like that? You like that? Appreciate that.
That's your Kirk Cousins moment.
100%.
You like that?
Kirk Cousins will be back on the quarterback show.
Yeah,
by the way.
NFL,
He won't be in the
Netflix.
same space as he was in on the first time.
Not at all.
You'll be going to Coles, though.
This is
Still
very
paid,
true.
though.
Yeah.
100%.
He's still paid.
They told me that this was only a football show, and I feel like in the last couple episodes, maybe the last couple weeks, we've proven that it's way more than that. But we do love ourselves some football. So here's a couple football topics for you. Jared Goff, he's the guy that's coming back. He doesn't have a center, doesn't have his offensive line, doesn't have his OC in Benedict Johnson, who's now somewhere that's not Detroit. But you know what? He's still the guy, man. He's got a new offensive coordinator, and this is him. Talk about Johnny Mo.
Newness of this offseason, having to learn John, how much is
Yeah, sure. It's fun. It's fun. It's a challenge, and it's new stuff. It's new communication. It's different ways he likes to do things, and learning each other, and it's fun. It's a fun challenge. It's something that we're working through every day, and something that's fun to overcome and get closer to being where we want to be.
We talked to him. He said, "Look, I'm not going to change much. It's been so successful. Just how subtle are the changes? Maybe with the casual fan notice it, and how much?"
Yeah, I'm sure a casual fan would notice some of it. Yeah. Yeah, some of it's different, some of it's the same. He's got a long background of stuff he's liked that he's done, and then he was here for a year through a lot of our success. So there will be a lot of that carryover and some new. And to be honest, I don't think that would have been any different, if you're returning with the same offense. You always kind of add some wrinkles. But, yeah, certainly he has his flavor on the offense and has been doing a good job.
That's been the big question. The question is, what is the offense going to look like with number 16 now that you don't have those guys? And, what we said was the comfortability is there. There's some comfortability with Johnny Moe. He was here in 2022. But also, Anson, as I come to you first, Jared Goff has helped build this offense in the last 4 years, going on 5 this year. So I think everybody should relax a little bit. But first time we hear him talk about it, what do you think?
Well, hey, that's my quarterback.
Okay,
That's
Stick.
my quarterback.
Okay, Stick.
Listen, that's all of our quarterback.
Yeah.
He's done more for us in Detroit than anybody not named Bobby Lane. All right. The SNL movement, or the BNL and the SOL movement, is a joke because all these people that are claiming BNL are just hopping off the bandwagon left and right. Because what? We lost 2 offensive coordinators and 1 offensive lineman.
2 offensive linemen.
2 offensive linemen, you're right. I look at this team and I see them better. I've said this ad nauseum. I see them better than the team that we had last year. I hear people calling out Dan Campbell and questioning his tenure here at this point. I'm going to go back to that window thing. Everybody wanting to trade because this is our window or we just missed our window. That is SOL talk if I've ever heard SOL talk. If you think that it's all about finding a 1 or 2 year window, well, I will guarantee you SOL football. This team is building something long-term, and we've already witnessed it for the last 3 years. This team is about cohesiveness. Yes, you lose a little bit out of your offensive line, but they're so damn deep at this point, and there's so much belief in all 53 guys. I just don't understand why people are freaking out over this team right now. You hear the confidence out of the players. You hear the confidence out of the coaching staff. Is it crazy for me to think that these new assistant coaches could bring a better brand of Detroit Lions football here? Is that crazy?
Anson, it's not crazy. And I'll forward this to Matt because you guys are on the opposite sides, although you both love the Lions, although you both believe they're the best team. You guys have just slightly different ways in which you go about it. Anson, when you replace the number 1 center as it relates to last year and number 2 when Jason Kelce was playing, and he's been doing it for a very long time with Jared Goff, that's something that, you think about. When you replace Kevin Zeitler, who last year was one of the best rated right guards, he was a Pro Bowl. You saw it emulated the same things he did when he was in Baltimore. He was that guy 13 years, and he hasn't missed a beat. When you're missing him now, that's 2 guys in your interior line. When last year your offense was led by the running game. The running game was number 1. So it's cause for, that's 2 concerns. Now your offensive coordinator, who before he wanted to become Benedict, he was Ben Johnson. He was a guy in which we revered as saving this Detroit Lions offensive prowess. I think that's what some of the people are worried about. Not necessarily what's going to happen at the end. That's just a quick interim worry right now. Tom Mazaway, that bothers you a little bit, not having Kevin Zeitler or Tong Frank Ragnow and Benedict Johnson.
Yeah.
What say you now? This is the first time we've kind of heard Jared Goff at the podium talking about Johnny Moe. Where are you at?
First of all, I want to thank Lions Nation Unite for that soundbite, our good friends there. But I don't know why I thought of this. And it was last night. I think I had a nightmare. It popped in my head while I was sleeping or I was tossing and turning. And I just pictured the Bears with Ben Johnson on the sidelines. And I'm being honest. It bothers me that I think he's an offensive guru. I don't think anyone could argue with that. Now, the Lions had a lot of talented people. I believe the Bears have a lot of talent, just not as much as the Lions. I think Ben Johnson, his offense with Chicago is going to be very good. It'll be dynamic in a couple of years once he really puts his stamp on it. And sure, it bugs me. It's like you're married, and then you get a divorce, and then she marries a guy down the block. So you still got to see him all the time. And he's out with your wife. He's not out with your family, but he's out with your ex-wife. And it sticks in my craw. It just bugs me knowing that he's cooking up this playbook for Catfish Caleb, as Anson would
My
call
man.
him, and the rest of this team. And they have some talent, guys. They do. And they drafted a hell of a tight end out of Michigan. They've got some weapons. They don't have Lions weapons, but they invested a lot of money on that offensive and defensive line. They don't have the running game yet. They drafted a rookie. We'll see how he does. They don't have the great tandem wide receivers that I don't believe they do, that the Lions have. But they got this guy on the sidelines in Ben Johnson and the people that he's brought over from the Lions and other teams. And it just sticks in my craw. And I know there's nothing I could do about it, but we got to see him twice a year and watch the Bears. I think they're going to be better than they were last year. I picked them for the playoffs last year. And no, they didn't make it. But hell, we all know where their season went wrong, and it was against the Commanders on that tip drill. And that's when the season dropped for them. They were on their way. Now they have a guy that I think knows what he's doing, has learned from some of the best here in Detroit. Brad Holmes down to Dan Campbell. So, yes, I'm a little worried that the Bears are going to be better, but I'm not worried about the Lions as much anymore, Bray. And I know Zeitler's gone, and I know Frank Ragnow's gone, but I believe the Lions will be able to, whatever, call it patchwork, call it find a gem. I believe they're going to be just fine. But Ben Johnson to the Bears still bugs the hell out of me.
Cody Engel in the chat. Who's to say Frank was going to be Frank this season?
Correct.
And was Frank at the end of last season when his toe was falling off?
No, but neither was the whole team.
But I don't. And to Cody Engel, I appreciate the comment, but I don't think the comment is Frank Ragnow is going to come here and have this all-American. I'm still thinking about this trip I was on. Have this all-pro year if you want. We're just talking about the fact that he's gone. We're talking about more than like the fact that he's gone.
Well, and we don't know for sure that he's gone. He could still have a role in, as an assistant coach or something like that. I do want to throw this super chat out here. Shout out Michael Weary. The super chat has been super weak today, and if you guys don't hit a
weak,
that's right. If you guys don't hit a threshold, all of this prize pack will go into tomorrow's prize pack. So let's see some more super chats, and let's pound that like button. Get us to 100. Tom Masway, Michael Weary. He says the Bears are going to be the reason Ben Johnson will never get another head coaching job. Just watch and see. That organization has sucked since '85. I'm not worried about those guys. I'm not worried about the loss of Ragnow. Yeah. I am worried about the chemistry and cohesion of this future front five, this future offensive line, this very young, all of a sudden, offensive line. Because if you look at it last year, we were one of the oldest. Yeah. Now we're one of the youngest. And we are great at player development. For me, win 10 games. That's fine. This team, when they get to the playoffs, will be healthy and ready. And that offensive line, I don't think is really going to lose too much.
Yeah, and I appreciate the comment talking about the youth of the offensive line. Now, that was one thing that we always had to worry about as you get later in the season. Is Kevin Zeitler in year 13 going to be able to hold up? Taylor Decker, there's a lot of questions being asked about him.
Dante 151 just said he might retire after this season.
And he would be right to do so. And just thinking about what Taylor's had to endure the last couple of years, if that saw him fit. You're right about that. Not having to worry about those things will be well. So you having that youthfulness. I do like that aspect.
We had to change at some point. We had to turn the page. And realistically, people questioning Dan Campbell's future here if they can't win a few games or get to a Super Bowl. To me, he's not putting it all in right now. This is my window. Whoa. I have to make it happen right now. Oh, man. You guys and your pauses are ridiculous, man. Anyway,
you're ridiculous.
Come on, grow up, gentlemen. Anyway, you talk about going all in this season with a bunch of old guys on your offensive line that get no experience, no play time, and let's say they make it and they lose in the Super Bowl or they make it to the conference finals. Now you're taking even more guys and replacing them with a whole bunch of young people. The fact that they're doing it now with Decker, maybe in his last year, with Panay, the all-pro that he is. These guys are going to get up to speed super quick. Burn with the $5 chat. His issue with Z and Frank is durability. The key play of the Commanders' loss was a bull rush on third and 1, blowing up our interior. Our not healthy interior, our not healthy team. Come on, guys. It's not about the window. It's about the franchise being great for the rest of this decade, and they're taking all the steps they need in order to do that.
That window thing bothers you, but I think it shouldn't bother you as much. And the only reason I say that is everything is a window. Like, everything is a window. You look at every team, there's a window in which a team is going to have opportunities, and then after that window closes, they're going to have to revamp some things. Now, how long that window stays open?
And that's the thing. Let's talk about windows.
Yeah.
How many times do you think the Lions have made 2 consecutive playoffs?
3 times.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
3 times. Do you know how many times that they've made it 3 out of 5 years?
Never.
Twice.
I'm tripping,
Right?
yeah.
In the 40s,
But
or
we
excuse
know.
me, the 50s, and in the 90s.
But we know this isn't that team anymore.
But-
This
but
isn't that franchise.
No, but what I'm talking about is that is football, not for long. All right?
Yeah.
And the fact that they're on the precipice of their 3rd straight playoffs with no fall off after 2025. Does anybody not see this as a playoff team in 2026?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what they are doing is not cashing in their assets to strengthen their window. They screw windows.
Yeah.
Let's be one of the best franchises in the NFL. Because the Kansas City Chiefs, they're not talking about a window. Philadelphia's not
That's 'cause
talking
they have
about a window.
Mahomes.
No, it's because they have depth and they have long-range foresight into how to build a champion. Period.
That's fine.
That's true, but it took time to get there. It took the Kansas City Chiefs time. They built that up in the 90s. Like, they were one of the
And they
formidable
didn't sell it all off for
They
1
didn't.
year or 2.
They didn't, but they never won a Super Bowl. And
Kansas City?
I'm talking about when they were good. Kansas City Chiefs have been good since the late 80s, early 90s. Like, they've been good, and they've had different moments where you're like, this team is damn good. Priest Holmes year with Larry Johnson, they bought it back when they had Will Shields and Willie Ruff. Like, that team was AFC champion.
They've had some good teams, just like the Pistons or the Lions have. But my difference that I see is when you look at the Phillies and the Kansas City Chiefs, these are 2 teams that are dedicated to long-term windows, i.e., a great franchise, year in, year out. Let's be the Steelers.
Yeah, how you take care of that one way is you pay your players. They paid Amon-Ra St. Brown. They paid the Penei Sewell. They played the homegrown players.
sir.
And we know guys are coming up. Look, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Let's have some fun. Detroit Lions, we'll get back into them tomorrow. We'll have a whole hour dedicated to the Detroit Lions tomorrow. I promise you that. I'm going to go home. I'm going to do some research, get some information. We'll have some fun. But you know what? I want to talk about these logos because Red Wings at 100. Who are the best hockey logos of all time? But first, let's get a message in from the massage chair.
All right, guys, looking to upgrade your relaxation game? Check out Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills, right up the street from us on Woodward and Long Lake Road. It's the largest massage chair room in the Midwest, and it features luxury comfort with Dr. Eric Duncan. He is the wellness doc, creator of the top YouTube massage chair review channel. Check him out right now. Book a visit. MassageChairHouse.com. Click that QR code. Doesn't cost you anything to go in and get yourself a 15 or 20-minute massage. Had to kick Ricky out of the chair again at about a 158. He took it to 158 today. Get the hell out of my chair, Ricky. Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation.
Detroit sports fan, Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak? Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Baligian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media, X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
The boys of summer are ready to get back to the playoffs, and there's no better place to get your Tigers coverage than Woodward Sports. Join us all season long as we follow as our hometown Tigers claw and fight. This ball is gone! Boys are back in town. Feel the roar with Woodward Sports.
Tried to help you guys out last night. Tigers were just going to crush. Braylon's giving you home run bats, hitting bats. What'd you say, Bray?
No, I'm with you. I said we gave it to you.
Oh, we tried to give it to you. Scan the QR code above my head. Use the code word over there, Woodward 1000. Open up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. When you do so, make your first deposit and your first bet of $20 or more. If that first bet happens to lose, it won't. But if it does, you get your first bet back as a bonus bet up to $1,000, but only if you scan that QR code above my head. Use the code word over there, Woodward 1000. Open up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. Mr. Anson.
Hey, we're talking about great logos. Les Stanford's got a great logo. They got great offers for everyone as well. You can see them all above my head there from left to right. The $169 a month 2025 Sierra double cab elevation, or the Hummer 2025 EV SUV for $699, or that Envision for only $259 a month. Get to Les Stanford today. Check out their awesome deals and their massive inventory. Les Stanford Buick and GMC. LesStanford.com. Gentlemen, together, let's drive.
All right, check this out. You guys didn't want to listen to me last night. That's fine. You didn't want to listen to Pete last night. That's fine. I'm going to double down today. You ready? Here you go. Jack Flaherty, 7 strikeouts.
Yes.
Riley Green, home run. And if you don't like the Riley Green home run, Parker Meadows home run. Been very quiet in that department. One of those guys are going to home run. Torque gets a hit, and Javi gets an RBI. Those are going to happen. However you want to put that together, make it happen. I called it yesterday. I called a bunch of other things, too. And legitimately, 85% of those things came true.
You better tell Jay out there or Lady Jane's.
Hey, I'm telling you.
He needs a winner.
Bray, what was that?
That's what you got.
See?
Here we go. Now we got the Caesar Sportsbook is up here. Listen to your boy. I'm going with 7 strikeouts for Jack Flaherty. Riley Green will homer tonight. If you don't like the Riley Green home run, that's fine. Put it on the shelf. Parker Meadows possibly will home run, but I like my money on Riley Green. You can do a side bet depending on how much money you got. You can do a Riley Green / Parker Meadows. You can also do that at Caesar Sportsbook. Torque gets a hit, and Javi Baez gets an RBI, which also means he gets a hit if you want to go that route. Hey, that's the bet. Book it, and we'll see you tomorrow. Let's have some fun with this one.
Yeah, we also need you to book some super chats. We aren't quite at that
Running
threshold,
out of time.
but I have a feeling that if I double the super chats for the next 6 minutes, we'll hit it. Super chats are doubled on the wheel for the next 6 minutes while we talk about dope logos.
Hey, can you bet Flaherty to give up a home run? Is there such a thing as that kind of bet?
No, I don't think so.
No, but like if you could,
because that's a lock.
Not tonight.
Okay.
Not tonight.
I hope you're right.
Not tonight.
He usually gives up at least one a game.
You're right. Not tonight though.
Okay.
Not tonight, man.
Good.
I'm
I'll be
feeling it.
there.
Best logos in hockey. I think the Red Wings have a pretty good one. We'll see how you
Look
feel
at that
about that. This
Centennial one.
is the 100th anniversary of the logo of the Detroit Red Wings. The logo, not loco. Which spawns the conversation, what are the best logos in the MLB? So this is how we'll do it.
NHL.
Excuse me, NHL.
I was gonna say you're flipping it on me there.
Well, we're talking about baseball, and now we're switching to hockey. So
I thought you went to the Negro Leagues baseball.
you know what?
MLB.
That was where my origin was.
Here you go.
I was
100%.
not ready for Matt to say Negro in that moment. Sorry.
Hey, the New York. Hey, I got a New York Cubans jersey.
No,
Ricky.
you're good. It was me.
At least it was
It just threw me off.
strong.
Listen to me,
At least
man.
it was strong on the Negro, not Nigra.
Right.
Like
I
back
was
in-
looking at it, I was like, wait, what is
Negro League.
that?
I got a New York Cubans jersey at home.
I have no idea what that is.
That's from the Negro League.
100%.
Said it again.
All right, everybody gets a turn. You get
like
5 logos, and I'm gonna take a look at where this is actually a pretty good list. I'm gonna rock with this one right now. Here we go. You get 5 logos. What are your top 5 NHL logos?
You can't go to Anson first.
Yeah, I can.
He's a hater.
I don't know if I know five.
Listen, I have watched a lot of hockey in my day. I've got a lot of hockey cards.
I'm just breaking your chops, man. I love you.
Hartford Whalers.
Yay!
I
See,
saw
now you're
that
mad
hat
friends.
out when I was like 10 years old.
Number 1.
It took me like 2 or 3 years to find that hat. I eventually took a black permanent marker to
job,
all of the
Pete.
white on the hat and made myself a black Hartford Whalers hat, but I've always been a huge fan of that.
Look at that thing.
I'm not mad at the Nordiques. I always liked the Nordiques logo.
Eh.
Back before they were the Avalanche, no thanks.
K-back Nordiques.
I mean, you're a fool if you don't have the Red Wings logo on there. Absolutely. I've always loved the Flaming Sea of Calgary. And
The Flaming A was even better when they were in Atlanta.
Ooh, I've never seen that.
It was beautiful.
Never seen that. But honestly, in the 80s, first learning about hockey and learning about the Great One, I don't know how you cannot love the Edmonton Oilers logo.
It is a good logo.
That's 5, Maz. And it only took me a few seconds.
That's good.
Probably quicker than your 30-second NHL update.
Wow.
Correct. Hey, can I go now? Because I got a ton of them. I'm going to try my best to
5, Maz.
lock
5.
them down. The Whalers are number 1. Number 2 is the Skating Penguin. But I need the black and ice blue,
Right,
they
the
used to
ice
call
blue.
it.
Yep.
Ice blue and black with a little yellow in it.
Yep.
The Skating Penguin is still great. Listen, the Islanders take a lot of crap. But I love the NY with the Y being the stick across the beautiful Long Island Sound. Give me the Islanders and put them in there. Now, yeah, I'm a homer. The New Jersey Devils is as clean a logo as you're going to get. The NJ, the J, of course, into it, the horns on the top.
That
and the
Seinfeld
tail at the
episode every
bottom.
time, man.
The Devils! Gotta love the Devils. How about
Cuddy.
the Shark? The San Jose Sharks. It's a terrific logo. Yeah, it's a newer expansion team back in the 90s, but it was a good one. Give me the Sharks, and I'm going to finalize it with, I'm going to go old school. Let me go old school with you a minute. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm going to give you one old one.
You're taking longer than I did.
The Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah.
Clean. I know. Not supposed to have it. The Chicago Blackhawks. Classic.
Just by that answer alone, it lets me know that Matt still says Redskins when he's at home.
I'm breaking my habit. I'm breaking my habit. I am. I just call them Washington.
Oh, yeah.
I'm breaking my
Florida
habit.
State.
Ooh.
Commanders is not a bad nickname. It just isn't what the Redskins were. That's all.
Commanders
much better
is
as
growing on you a
Commanders
little bit.
is not a bad
Okay.
nickname.
Call them the commies.
Yeah,
I-
that's fine.
I like the list. Ricky, what say you?
So I got the Red Wings, Calgary. He said that Mighty Ducks. Can't forget about the Mighty Ducks.
That's a good one, Ricky.
Solid.
Yep.
You had which one did you say? The Sharks.
Yep.
I need one more. That was my favorite. I had to actually look them up. The Kraken. The Kraken.
Yeah.
That
Kraken.
S
Seattle
is
Kraken.
fire.
Dope. Yeah.
That S is
That's
fire, and I
fire.
like
you
what
go.
they do on their ice, too. They actually have like that cracking
Yeah, it's got
underneath
that
the
serpent.
ice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I forgot one. I'm going to
Oh,
let
yeah.
Pete go, but I'll bring it up after.
Oh, I got a good one.
On you,
guys
Pete.
have forgotten a good one.
I think it's the one I'm
It's
thinking
one
of.
of my favorites.
It's on you.
Okay. We're going to start with number 5. I'm going to agree
Okay.
with Maz and the Blackhawks. Okay, the Blackhawks logo is absolutely beautiful. It's just one of the best. Now I'm going to give one that's going to shock a lot of people, including Maz. The Rangers Shield is absolutely just probably that's number 4 for me
Maz
on my
hates the
list.
Rangers.
They got the
Without
best
a doubt.
uniform, though. If you
Pardon
ask
me?
me.
Hey, that red, white, and blue.
That's gorgeous.
The way they do their red, white, and blue scheme is like one of the only ones, not to cut you
Beautiful.
off, Pete,
Yeah,
that whenever it's a red, white, and blue team, they always channel like the American
Correct.
flag.
Right.
Their red, white, and blue scheme does not channel the flag.
They're a park ranger. That's what
Right.
they are.
100%. Go
That's
ahead, Pete.
that's why I like it. It's a great logo. Now
Hate
I'm
'em,
gonna-
though.
Now I'm going to skip my third logo because that's the logo you guys are missing. Number 2 for me is the Hartford Whalers, and number 1 is the Red Wings. Number 3, which you guys are missing,
Hurricane.
and let's see if Anson, and I'm shocked that Maz forgot this one. The Colorado Rockies.
That's
Back
the
in
original
NHL.
New Jersey Devils.
That's right. The Colorado Rockies. I love this logo. The mountain with the sea, the sun rising through the sea over the mountain. It is just my favorite. That's my third favorite logo.
Vancouver
Anson, was I right?
Canucks, man.
Oh, they're awful.
I love
That's
that awful
awful.
logo. I love that awful logo. I
That's-
think I just like that early 80s NHL
Pete,
stuff.
do me a favor and find the Kansas City Scouts.
You got it.
That were the Kansas City Scouts were the original New Jersey Devils. It's the Scouts, it's the Rockies, and they became the Devils. So I always have a little something in my heart for the old Scouts of Kansas City. And maybe they'll get a hockey team back there soon. Who knows?
All right. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The moment you've all been waiting for. Now, my list isn't anything
Here you go,
special.
Tommy.
I'm not
There it
gonna-
is. Look at that.
That's pretty
That
cool.
all- Oh, yeah, that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
That's dope.
It wouldn't fly today, but it's dope.
Nice job. Why? It's an Indian riding a horse.
Exactly.
Heaven forbid we represent our
Heaven
heritage.
forbid I show you an Indian riding a horse.
Yeah. No,
God
look,
forbid.
I don't care. But I'm just saying. it
I
wouldn't fly
think
today.
the part about the Indian is
Right.
why people have the hang up.
It's a what right now?
I'll go honorable mention Edmonton Oilers. I've always liked that logo. I like how it falls
the
off.
oil drip.
The drip.
The oil
100%. Like that was well
is
done.
classic.
It's classic. It's classic. That was a good call by you. Edmonton Oilers. I'm gonna go with the Sharks. I had the Penguin on the skates. 100%.
He's beautiful.
The Hartford Whalers. 1,000%. The Ducks, like, come on, like I'm an '80s kid, so you know what that era is to me.
Cake eater.
Hey, a duck with a goalie mask on it? Come on.
Like, stop it. I even watched the cartoon when it came out.
Absolutely.
Shout out to that.
Juicy smooth life.
And then you know what it is. Number 1 is the Red Wings logo. I don't say that because the Red Wings logo is near and dear to Detroit, where I'm from. I say it because it's the truth. And the era I grew up in, the Red Wings were special. The Detroit Red Wings, no matter where you were, they were special. Whether you hated them or you loved them, they were special, and they represented that will with the wing. I'm going with that logo.
I did not
number
count
1.
the Red Wings because I thought that was the top of the mountain.
Oh,
to
in
me.
that case, then
That's the top of the mountain.
in that case, Ducks are 1, Whales 2, Penguins 3, Sharks, Oilers, and the
Nice.
Red Wings is kind of like a Michael Jordan, where you don't have to count them. You know who's at the top of that mountain.
You know what the Oilers were back
This
in the
is fun.
WHA days?
No, Mass, but you do.
Who's in the chat?
They were the Indianapolis Racers.
I was about to say another
The
Indian.
Indianapolis Racers, Wayne Gretzky's first ever team. They swapped. They traded them over to Edmonton. They folded, and we got the Oilers.
May have
Indianapolis
never
is
known that if I
unfortunate,
hadn't
man.
watched the first 30 for 30, which is a King's Ransom.
That was a great one.
It's the first, and it was great.
Bruce McNall, the poor Kansas, I want to say poor. He cheated. He was the Kings owner, and he got Gretzky, man.
Anson,
He got him.
Anson, what say you? Is today a will day, or is it postponed for tomorrow?
Well, it wasn't up to me. It was up to the chat, and the chat said, no, it's not a wheel day. You did get us to 90 likes, though. We appreciate that. Got a few minutes to get us over 100. If you do get us over 100, I will make sure tomorrow's prize pack is amazing, but everything that you see here, aside from the 2 bobbleheads, the Joe Dumars bust, the Shaq, that's going into Friday's show. Friday's show, I wasn't here last Friday. I promised you guys a big finale prize pack for the week, so I'm going to make sure that happens Friday. But tomorrow, you guys get us over 100 shares, and I'll make sure that tomorrow's pack is even better than
All right,
today's.
Pete, this is for you and Maz. This is how we'll end the show. Tigers back on the field today. Jack Flaherty takes the mound as they go against the Oakland Athletics, now the Las Vegas A's, if you will. What's the game looking like tonight? Last night was full of home runs, dingers, great plays in the outfield. Do you see more of that, or is it like they got to cool off just a bit.
I think you're going to see more of it, Bray. Keep the pedal
let's
to the
go.
metal, my man. I expect at least 8 runs tonight. That's
Ooh,
correct. I
wow.
expect at least 8 runs just by the Tigers alone tonight, guys. Pedal to the metal. This is what they needed to get them out of that slump, Bray. We are back, baby.
Who's throwing for the Athletics?
Oh,
Doesn't matter.
There you go, Maz.
Doesn't matter.
he's 2-7 with a 436.
Like I said, it doesn't matter. Hey, crazy Dante got in here again, baby.
There's one I love in there.
Dante, you got to put him in tomorrow a few
He's
times
in.
now, right? He says, my number 5, my 5 big ones. The Flyers.
Ooh,
I like the Flyers. The Red Wings. The Golden Knights. The Knights is a
I
good
like
one.
that one. I
The
like
Ducks and the Sabres.
Mogilny, baby.
And he also said, don't forget about the Hurricanes, the Canes,
You know,
who were the Whalers.
the Whalers. Side note, 2 dope logos. Side note, another really good logo. It's just blasphemy to mention it here in Detroit. Like, you know that logo. You know, I don't even have to mention the team. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That logo is fire, but because it's our rival,
No thanks.
exactly. It would be like Michigan giving credit to Ohio State.
You know what
Which we
else is
never do.
fire?
Which one are you talking about?
They're in Colorado.
You know what else is fire?
We'll leave it there.
These photos we got from our guy Freddie Felt out west.
He's living
Shout out
it
to
up.
Freddie Fett. Petco Park. Is
Man.
it still called Petco Park?
Yeah, he's got a beautiful day to watch some baseball today.
Ooh, he's got a good
Wow,
season.
look at that.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at that
It
view.
is.
He's at Black's Beach right now. He's headed straight there from there.
That's awesome.
That's the nude beach.
The
Is
best-
it really?
the best
Yeah, it
beach.
is.
Freddie Felt ain't going to Nude Beach.
I'm
You never
teasing.
know.
I don't know if he's there. He might be, though.
He might be there with binoculars.
But, hey, I do want to let everybody know that you guys paid into the wheel today. I'm
Yep.
going to be moving all of your wheel slots to Friday. So make sure you show back up, not only tomorrow, but also for Friday. And that last one from Dante, we will double you up on that as well.
Look, man, we
Yep.
appreciate you guys for joining. This is what we do here. Braylon Edwards joining you with Anson, Wells, Tom Mazaway, Ricky Burns, as well as Pete Spirek. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We appreciate you guys, just sharing 2 hours with us during your busy day.
700th show, bro.
701st as of right now. We love you. See you tomorrow.